Okay, today we're gonna build Alexa skill, and this is going to be with a simple markup language using BotTalk. The skill that we are going to build is very simple dog facts skill. So let's go through the mind map of the skill. So first of all, user starts the skill, then there are different phrases that the skill randomly chooses to start. For example, did you know that? Let me see what we've got. I bet you didn't know that, and so on. Then we make an API request to a doc API. Yes, there is a doc API. From that request, we get a fact, which we read out loud to the user and ask the user for input if it's going to be a next one, in which case we kind of do this all over again, or if the user says no, then we again want a skill randomly choose one of the goodbye phrases, so the skill wouldn't be boring. So this is a very simple skill to kind of show you this markup language that BotTalk is actually offering you, but nevertheless we have random stuff, random things that Alexa is going to kind of produce. We have API requests, responses, and yeah, so several concepts that are very interesting. So in order to start your first skill with BotTalk, you go to bottalk.de, then log in with your Amazon account. And as you can see, there are some skills that are created already. You click on the create new one. You name your skill like demo 1, and you choose a language. In our case, it's going to be English. And I press create, and there's demo 1 in English. Yeah, so this is the basic structure of your skill. There are 3 tabs there. Main is the main logic, intents is where intents are gonna be hosted, and slots are the slots. We're not gonna cover slots in this video because we don't have like any slots, but we're gonna cover intents and main. So this editor is already pre-populated with some stuff. For example, how you the invocation name, how you're gonna actually invoke this skill, demo 1, demo dogs 1, or example phrases, and the first step already there. So we're gonna actually go and start with the first step. Initial step and the actions are the things that Alexa or the skill is doing. In this case, there's a simple send text message, which, if you remember, we want it to be a random in our case. So we are using simple tweak templates for that, and we are telling, okay, do this random. Choose just one of the following, and I'm gonna just quickly copy all of it, and here you go. You can say, okay, just choose one from the following array of or the list of things that I'm telling you. And every time a user is starting the skill, one of this is going to be sent back to the user. Okay, we got it. What we've got next? Send text, and then what I can do is actually you gotta be very careful with this, because YAML, this is the format in which this whole thing is working, is very error prone when it comes to formatting. So what we want is actually to say, okay, Alexa said that, and what happens next? Well, for that we have a special directive. It's called next, and then we want to make an API request. There's an API request, API request, sorry, and yeah, the next step is going to be API request. Here you go. API request, and it's going to go there. There's a funny API that I found called Docs API, and the structure is it's a success and facts, and the facts is an array, so you basically need to take the first element of the array. So that's what we're going to do now. So the first action, the first thing that this step is going to do is called get URL, and it consists of the URL parameter. We're going to just copy that and enter it right here. And then the second action that we're going to use is called set context. The context is a variable, essentially. It is something that allows you to store something in for each user in the skill. So this is very powerful concept. You can use this variables inside of the skill, inside of you know, and use it in the different step, for example, or which is very cool. This context stays saved between sessions. So that means every time the user invokes this this skill, you can essentially check if you know, this variable is set, you know, what was happening in the last time. It's very powerful. We're not gonna cover sessions in this video, but we are planning to do the next one where we can cover sessions. In this case, we just gonna set a context, and the context takes two parameters. One is from, so what is going to take the value from. And for that, we're gonna take kind of the response from this URL. Every time you go to get URL, then it is automatically stored in this URL response variable. And then we're gonna go ahead and see, okay, there is a key fact, and we're gonna, and inside of it there is an array, so it's gonna be 0. And as you can see here, there's a very interesting thing. There's like this, you know, parentheses here, or things that are, well, not so good. And Alexa, she will try to kind of read this escape characters. And what we're gonna do is we want to kind of cut it off. So this is where Twig is coming to the rescue with this with its replace function, and it takes two parameters. First one, which character is going to be replaced. In our case, it's slash, and basically that, right? And then with what you're going to replace it. We're going to replace it with a simple, like, nothing, right? Yeah, so this is where a variable is going to get from. So it's going to be calculated, then we're going to take a fact and replace unneeded characters. Of course, you can like put several things there. Okay, and then we're gonna save it to a variable that we will call a fact. And yeah, and basically this is it for this step. Next one is going to we're going to call the next step read fact. So this is what happening here, right? So we covered API request, and then we're going over to read fact. Let's just do it quickly. Read fact. Yeah, and the actions. Oh, I think I got up. Yeah. The actions, the first one is going to be send a text, and this is pretty easy because we're gonna just take the variable that we saved here, fact, the variable where all unneeded characters have been already replaced, and then the second one, as you can see here, read fact, we want to kind of send another text asking the user if it's going to be a next one. we're gonna say it like next one, or we can still use the random directive and say okay, because it's kind of boring when Alexa is always telling you the same thing. Alexa always telling you the same thing. Alexa is always telling you the same thing. Have you noticed that, right? Yeah. It's very unnatural. Okay, next one. Next fact, or something like ready for next talk fact. Yeah, so it's going to choose one of those, and then a new action that we introduce in here is called get input. This is essentially, you don't have to write anything here. Why? Because this is something that is coming from the user. So essentially this is user input. And based on this input, we're gonna choose what we do. First of all, the first input could be okay, yes, and in this case we jump back to API request. When the user says yes, he wants to hear some more, and then this whole thing repeats. Or no, thanks, we jump to a next kind of step that is called exit. So where are those yes, next, and no thanks coming from? Well, if you already built the first skill, you probably know that there are things like intents, and this is basically where this coming from. Yes, next is the first intent, and we're just gonna take yes, please, or yes, yes, please. Next fact. Yeah. Stuff like you. Okay, and you can just fill it in with anything that the user might say. For example, I forgot stuff like yes. The more you fill in, the more kind of chances you have that the actual user is going to say that, and Alexa is going to actually understand that. Or no next. Let's define a couple of those. No. No thanks. Nope. Yeah. So those are intents, and then as you can see here, we kind of introduced the new step that is called exit. Name exit. It will consist of. I think I'm kind of off here, right? Yeah? No? Okay. Of the following actions, it's going to be send text action, which you probably getting familiar with. And here you can see we want if user said no, and essentially this is the kind of goodbye phase. We're gonna use random directive again, and we're gonna say okay. Alrighty then, see ya. Copy this one as well. You know where to find me. Yeah, it's all right. And then this is the actually interesting part, because from this step, as you can see, there is no next. So if user actually tells okay next, if actually says no, then Alexa is gonna just say something like that, and that's it. There are a couple of things that we need to add, but first I want to test. I'm gonna save it, and as you can see, there is a problem on the line. As you can see, there is a I have this indentation problem. as I said before, the YAML format is very powerful, but sometimes very creepy about the indentations. And let's see if I can just fix it quickly. So be careful with YAML. Let's save it. Yeah! Okay, it's all saved. And the cool thing is that you can directly test the thing. Here you go, running a test, open demo one. I bet you didn't know that. Next fact, this is not what we expected, right? So once again, why is he's not telling us the actual fact? What we expect, and you can see that there is a URL response, but nothing is coming to a fact. Okay, then we've made some kind of mistake here, and the fact is actually not getting through. And I think I got it. We call it fact instead of facts. So here you go. We just found an error without submitting it to Amazon. Oh, okay. And as you can see, okay, now it's working. This tester is actually going through several stages. You can see here, invoked. Did you know that? Next one, and then the tester goes, okay, yes please. Then the next one is read. Next one, the tester goes once again, yes. And then the tester says no. The tester is actually choosing one of the intents randomly, and for example here it just said no from the first time. And as you can see on the right, there's a very good debug information for your context variables, what is coming in, what you saved in which variable, very handy. And as you can see here, we've got some problem here. There is no blank space after next one, or rather before next one. What we're gonna do is actually do something like that. Save, test. Here you go. Next one. Ready for the next? Yeah, we got it. So before we go and deploy it, there are things that we need to add, and those are things that Amazon requires you to do, or requires every skill to do. And there are three directives. There's a cancel intent, stop intent, and help intent that you should actually provide. It will work, but if you submit this skill now, they're gonna deny it because they say, okay, the user should be able to cancel this skill, say exit, and user should be able to say help anytime and get his help. So okay, we're gonna just provide that. We're gonna put those things where we for the first time expect user input. It's right here. When we say next one, next fact, and so on, the user should be able to say no, and it's called Amazon.cancel intent, and it's going to go to exit as well. Amazon.stop intent as well is going to go to exit. And there's one more called Amazon.help intent and intent. So, and this one we don't have yet, so we're going to the step stop. We're going just to create it very quickly, called stop. Sorry, help. Help. Here you go. Entry point equals true. This is important because actually when you say entry point equals true, this is the step that user can actually say anytime, right? So if we had like several other steps, we don't have to like we don't have to provide this help this Amazon.help intent on every kind of get input. You know what I'm talking about? If you say entry point true, you can provide this directive Amazon help intent only once, and then next time it doesn't matter which step it is, the user just can jump out of your logic here to a help intent. So entry point true, then actions, and it's going to be a simple action like send text, and we gonna say something like I'm here to help. You can ask for a next fact or just exit. Do you want to hear next funny dog fact? Of course, we want a user to kind of be involved in it, and get input is what we're expecting, and the next possible things that user could say is again yes, next, in which case we're going to redirect into this tab API request, sorry, or no thanks, in which case we're going to exit altogether. And the exit as well, we need to provide one more directive, which is called entry point true, so that the user can say, for example, here it's a good thing. We don't need to write Amazon stop intent on Amazon cancel intent as a possible things that we are waiting user to say in this tab. We only need to write it once, and then the user can say, although we don't write it here, although it looks like we're expecting only two outcomes, that the user says yes, next fact, or no, I don't need a next fact. Actually, user can say exit or cancel here, and this step is going to be invoked. That's why we need entry point. Okay, let's save it. Okay, everything's saved. Let's run some tests again. Open demo 1 once again. Okay, is it open demo 1, demo docs 1, open demo docs 1, demo docs 1. So here you go, saved once again, open demo, and so on. Yeah. It looks good, and this is why we want to deploy it right now. Click on deploy. This skill does not exist on Amazon, so it is creating one on the Amazon. It is creating interactions models, building interactions models. So essentially, the intents that we provided here are getting built at the moment, depending on complexity of your models, of your intents and slots. It could take a while, but we're using the Amazon API, so it is taking exactly the same amount of time as you would do in an Amazon builder itself. So you have to kind of wait till this is over, and after it's done, yeah, successfully deployed to Alexa. Okay, let's just test it. So I've got my console here, got several things. So this is the demo 1 that we just created, right? And we can actually edit it here, or what we're going to do actually is test it. So demo docs 1.
Did you know that 3 of the 12 dogs on the Titanic survived? Ready for a next dog fact?
Yeah.
Dogs are omnivores. They eat meat, grains, and vegetables. Next one?
Yep.
A puppy is born blind, deaf, and toothless. Next one.
Next fact. Remember, we provided that
If never
one.
spayed or neutered, a female dog, her mate, and their puppies could produce over 66,000 dogs in 6 years. Next one.
Let's try help.
I am here to help.
Great.
You can ask for a next fact, or just exit. Do you want to hear the next funny dog fact?
Yeah.
Walt Disney in number 039.
Ooh, this is
as family
something
dog,
that
named
we
Sunny,
didn't think about.
was the inspiration behind Lady and the
And
Tramp.
which we
Ready
could
for our next
actually
dog
replace here with the replace directive replace function, but I'm not going to do now. So let's try cancel, for example. Cancel.
You know where to find me. Bye.
Where to find me? Okay, where to find me. This is something else that we could actually, you know where to find me. And the funny is thing that if I kind of save it right here, I don't need to rebuild anything. I just can start it once again.
Did you know that?
And then
in 2001.
cancel.
Alrighty then. See ya.
Okay, this is a random thing, as you
How
can
about
see.
dogs judge? Alrighty then. See ya. How about
Cancel
dogs?
again.
Alrighty then. See ya.
Okay, but it is random. Let's just do it one more time.
I bet you didn't know that. Spiked dog collars were invented in ancient
Nope,
Greece.
we don't want
You
it.
know where to find me. Bye.
So here you go. As you can see, we just edit it here in the and save it, and then Amazon already knows it. So yeah, this is it. This is it. It's pretty straightforward and small facts skill. But as you can see, you don't need any kind of advanced computer knowledge or any kind of server. Everything is automatically done for you, and you can create pretty advanced stuff with Twig because it's a templating engine, and yeah, we will record some more videos for you to kind of see the advanced features of BotTalk. Yeah, thank you very much for watching. Give us a feedback in the comments. Yeah, see you guys.